That's enough of bullying Marine Lord. It's time to see who's going to be bullying who. Ladies and gents, it's semi-finals time. That's right, 3D Clan Showdown. B going up against Cat in our semi-finals for the midweek muster number 12. Yeah, an interesting packed day we're going to be having this Thursday. Actually, 3 series to come. All happening on the same day here. It could be a long one, actually. We could end up with a total of 17 games played today. And this is already an intriguing start. Cat is going for an outpost rush. Yeah, so we saw Cat whipping out the HRE as opposed to some. I think before it's always been French almost. For B, he is instinctively always gone Japanese without failure on this map. Has served him really well. He's been utilizing those outer pawns incredibly effectively. He's not going to fall for it this game, though. He done the right thing. He scouted straight away. He saw the Dark Age Spearman Rush. So on a map where Japan will usually just scout under these pawns, he's going to stay at home. Now, this outpost rush... Oh, Cat, no. He needs to scout Meow. I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke. Okay, wait, but he has. So he knows about the other gold. Admittedly, oh, there we go. B doesn't. B actually doesn't know he's got a backup gold here, so he might panic react. I mean, how would you panic react at this stage, right? Kind of looks like you're a little bit stuck. Who would win in a real-life fight between Marine Lord, Anatan, Beastie, and Vortex? Probably Anatan. I wanted to say Vortex, but then I thought about it for a second, and I was like, they're all getting a bit old, you know? Like, Vortex is my instinctive one to go towards, but if age is a problem here, like, I don't know. I've never seen Vortex jog or anything. He might have, like, hip problems, for all we know. Which would track, right? Because all the top competitors have something. Dumu's always getting ill. Beastie's got, I think it was his wrist, right? Marine Lord, basically, any bone gets sneezed on and it breaks. Yeah. Tudor's variant Sif? Dude, I'd love to see a Tudor variant. I don't know if Tudor's the way you go. But at the same time, people don't want English turned into Scottish, for example. Like, a lot of people aren't up for that either. Because, you know, Scottish people would hate that and English people would hate that. But I do think we're going to be seeing more variant civs. So, like, variant civs has been a pretty anchored part of AoE4 now after that expansion. I think it's just going to be the way things develop moving forward. Cocoa Township to counter spears. Yeah, it also is a decent way of trying to burn through the outpost efficiently. But we have got a 3D special. This is pretty much something that you'll see out of 3D Clan members and former 3D Clan members. It's the Minework build. Yeah, this is all in feudal oriented then. Can you imagine Anachat being high dexterity speed fighter and Vortex a brute force? Yeah, so like the bull, right? So what we're saying is, it's kind of like watching the fight between the Mountain and the Viper in Game of Thrones. Now, after Anatan's smack talk in chat, do you really trust him to not spend too long standing still for just a moment and then get head crushed? Cat was 7 on the Minework, though. You see how expensive it is when you have to go through Spearman plays. So typically when you go Minework, to get the most value, you're trying to lean Spear plus Horseman. It's definitely a matchup where you can see that being likely here. Going Spear plus Horseman would usually feel bad against Shinobi, but with the all pikes and melee attacks, you can do decent damage. Realistically, you want to be rushing archers here, though. So you even get the stone for the emplacement upgrades. Marine Lord is definitely Arya. It's a bit unfair to Arya. Is this on, like, this is something we should start doing with, with scenes. Going through the top players, etc., that we know, and comparing them to Game of Thrones people. God knows who I would be. I don't even want to look at the answers in chat for that. Anyway, we do have the Prelate starting to be produced. You need extra when you don't have the Arkin, remember. This is going to enable them to play Pocket Economy. I actually like this idea on Oases in particular, because a lot of the food is far away and there's no way to get it home, right? The berries, the fishing, it's all stuck in one location. So, like, Arkin kind of seems a little bit less desirable on this particular map. Johan, don't you dare say I'd be the little finger guy. Give you the big middle finger, you piece of shit. Why are you all saying Littlefinger? What? Based on what? Why am I Littlefinger? You know what? I'm gonna plan your elaborate defeats after this. You'll think I'm your friend, and then one day... Oh shit, I am babish. Alright, Archer's now coming in. We have Yumi play from B. Yeah, this is the problem though, because we've got men at arms on the way. Okay, guys, you're legitimately just trying to give expectations of who you think I'd be based on how British their voice is. That, like, the eunuch, you don't even remember his name. Another thing about, like, Baelish, Joffrey, and the eunuch are probably like the most British-sounding people on that entire cast. I don't even sound that British. I've got shifty eye. Gee, thanks, guys. Real nice. You know, and now I'm like, is this just my community members saying this, or is this the people from front page? What next? Oh, KP, you're basically whichever character in Game of Thrones has the biggest head. Why am I giving you ammunition? That was a weird dive, actually, from Kat. I don't know what he was really expecting to happen there. Outpost goes up. B has access to gold, which means he can spam more Shinobi. Yumi plus Shinobi is kind of a solid play here, right? Like, I was a little bit hesitant because I thought Men-at-Arms would just beat because Yumi suck. But now that he's got gold access again, there's a way that B can play this. He has better maneuverability as well. Dumu is so Ned... What? I'm not sure who... I don't know if Dumu's Ned... I don't think we have a Ned Stark, now that I think about it. Wait, guys. Wouldn't... I've got it. I've actually got it. No. I know who it is. It's Noob, right? Technically, Age of Noob would be Ned Stark. If you think about it, like actions-wise. He followed what he thought was right. They got him killed. Okay, sorry, Noob. But in fairness, it does track. Because, like, for the Ned Stark character, you need someone who's, like... They do the thing that's right, even though it's going to basically get them wiped, you know? Who's Hodor? Oh, Crackety is 100% Hodor. It's a respectable line. Because all you need to do is replace Hodor with bees being yelled about all the time. Or May. Like Crackety's Hodor with just a few more additional words. So, Shinobi, by the way, have done a good job of kind of poking at the backside, keeping him contained. Cat kind of lost his pressure point. He has got the Archer raid, though. We'll find one or two workers. You can see that B is trying to skim by into a greedy point in the game. One important thing to note in this game that we haven't seen for B so far on this map is the lack of fishing. He hasn't been able to get anywhere. And on the microphone giveaway, when we're going to announce the winner, we'll announce the winner at the start of March. So I'm going to give people a month to end the giveaway. Or just a little bit under a month. And then, yeah, we'll give it away at the start of March. Beastie's Sandor game? Really? Khal Drogo's Hera. Wait, who's Doubt, though? That's the one I really want to answer. Who the hell is Doubt, now that I think about it? Alright, so Yumi are about to get buffed up for B, but the problem here is he needs to get the castle. Staying feudal doesn't really serve your purpose now. The upside at least for you is this is not an Arcan game, so it's not like HRE benefits from a hyper long feudal, i.e. they don't get the mass Arcan farm buff. What we do have, though, is longevity of food, and that's something that B is going to struggle with here. He's having to take risks now. He's starting to move out onto the flank berries. That could be so embarrassing. Kind of like that one. Wait, who's Jaime Lannister, though? Now you have to be very careful in this one because like you're trying to summarize the personality, but if you say your answer the wrong way, you're basically implying they bang sisters. The like personality arc of bad guy into good guy. Who would it be? B? That's not red in the back. Actually, who would... Like, dude, we're going all the way around this, but who would be in Cat B? Cat, we basically have to... Jaime Lannister's beastie because of the wrist injury. Oh, no. Oh. Wait, but that means Marine Lord's technically whoever lost their ankle. But who's Cat and B? Like, for Cat, you basically have to find someone that exists in the Game of Thrones world that has, like, a boy band haircut, right? Because he's got that full Prime Bieber look, you know? With the hair. Does drugs this Cat? Jesus, yo. Alright, Flash coming in. Yuumi. Oh, this is nicely done, actually. He's kind of forcing the Yuumi line forward, so the A-clicks actually don't go into the Shinobi. And guys, we have hardened Samurai. This never gets done. This is a unit you never see in the Feudal Age because it feels like trash. But B may have found a way to make it feel volatile here. It's interesting because I think on its own it would be worthless, but with the Shinobi mixed in, you basically have something to absorb all the shots, and then the Shinobi do the real damage. And yet you can see that B is priority in that. He even pulls them back with the Shunshin. Not just that, he's raiding in, man. It's just adding up. This game just got so chaotic. It felt like Cat really had a noose around B's neck, but the moment he broke out with the first wave of Shinobi, he hasn't looked back since. And yes, the berry gathering rate when you have got Wheelbarrow 2 is the same as Shoreline Fish. So these are like, Shoreline Fish is baseline the best thing you can gather from in the game. But by the time you get your second of 3 Wheelbarrow Texas Japanese, you're basically getting the best gathering tech level in the game. Now, obviously, that's not accounting for people getting things like the horticultures and whatever to increase their base food gathering. But as a baseline, yes. This is not looking great for Cat. Once again, like the comp he's going for doesn't make much sense for mine work, right? Like, goal with mine work is archers, horsemen, spearmen. Mass men at arms is a bit weird here because now going for the longer game, you're meat grinding, right? You're meat grinding without mass food. But yeah, who is B? Who is B in the Game of Thrones world? Also, who's Tywin Lannister? Wait. Isn't Marine Lord technically like Tywin? Or is that too complimentary to him? Because he's got that... Well, I think Marine Lord tries to exude a Tywin Lannister aura. Whether it succeeds or not, I'll let other people decide. I might be Tywin? Holy crap. I'm gonna die on a toilet? Just like Elvis. Really made it. Okay, so B, we have got more Yuumi and Samurai coming. He's starting to get the farms in, but the thing is he doesn't need to rush them, right? He's got pocket economy access now. I just don't know how Cat's going to keep this food pump up. He has got south side resources for the time being, but yeah, you're already seeing the exposure point here, right? Like, I don't think you can play like this against Shinobi specifically, right? Oh, I've walled, I'm safe. No, you're not. You're never actually safe from this. Try look. Imagine if this goes on long enough that it stops pinging. Okay, so this is good and bad. He's not losing a villager, but it means he's not buffing his economy anymore. So this is kind of just achieving more than you'd think, actually. Because if he doesn't react to it, he's not going to have much of a 40% buffer here. Meanwhile, Raids on the other side has still been finding additional kills. These Defo Ramsey Bolson? Wait, but whose hot dog has he chopped off then? Because that's the thing you haven't. Wait, who's his pet? All right, and we do have the Shinobi finally being shut down. He took out double prelate. Oh no. That's expensive, remember. Replacing those prelates, that equals one less villager, so it's just as good as sniping a villager. Actually, it's better because these cost 100 gold instead of 50 food. Unbelievable. Now B, he just continues to scale the Yumi, right? The reality check of this being a potential gradual castle play is realer and realer as time goes on here. Wait, why is Marine Lord now Theon Greyjoy? You guys can't decide who you want him to be. Wait, wouldn't so like you need someone who's like B's pet, right? So like for a while you had that Japanese player that he trained with a year or two ago, right? Or you choose one of his teammates who's been like his closest scrimmer for a long time, like maybe Garnhav. I don't know, man. It feels mean to call anyone Theon Greyjoy. What an interesting way to start the semi-finals, cast. Wait, no, that's a fair point. Marine Lord is Hodor, but only says Bunty. That's not true. What you just said is Twitch chat is technically Hodor, but saying Bunty. So, Cat, this is slipping, right? I mean, it's a 20 eco lead now, right? And not a lot of that is in fishing. It's only 3 in fishing. The rest is just Cat losing economy and apparently forgetting to produce as well. That's definitely been happening here. Right? And no, I think the prelate count, right? 'Cause he's up to 6. He's added, so far in total, he would have added 5 in. So I don't think he's been skipping on villager production. It's just the pain of the prelates. And you're starting to see the problem here in this game, why Japanese can feel really good. It's a civ that plays in the pocket economies incredibly well. And it directly ruins the minework plan. Like, I think Cat, for the way he played this game, minework made very little sense. Arkham would have been the more logical conclusion. I laugh. Casters need to be maesters from the Citadel. Yeah, but which one's the maester that pretends to be like an old dried up guy and then just basically whores around all the time? Got his name. You know the one. I don't know, guys. Cat, if he can't do some raid damage soon, this is going to be curtains. You can see B starting to macro a bit. I mean, when you have 43 Yumi, it's worth going for the upgrade. Yumi, they can just bypass, right? Yeah, he knows there's a lot of economy down in the south corner. He doesn't need to dive into the base. That's the hard way of winning. The easy way of winning is just cutting him off at the knees. Fishing disappearing on both ends. And this has to be the GG dive. The villagers don't have the movement speed to get away from it. The Yumi can stick on top of them. And now it's time for a game of Ring of Roses around the spires. The Archer's going to arrive too late, and game 1 will continue to belong to B's Japanese. But we still need to solve which Game of Thrones character he really is. Okay, maybe I'm warming to the idea of being a Littlefinger. I mean, I don't know about owning a whole house, but that guy is pretty smart. You gotta give it to him. I don't know if he's as clever as some of these tactical geniuses we haven't named before, though, because we've got game number 2, Mongols versus Abba. Sometimes I don't know if it's just they know each other that well, or it's because they like having 5-game series, but when we watch Cat and B, it's almost like watching a practice, in that it goes all the way, bouncing back and forth. Still couldn't find the YouTube video of the PC build. I guess I could post it. I'm going to post it on Discord and Twitter at some point this week just to refresh people. But it is up there. It was done a few days ago, start of the month. Basically, the video is titled... What's the name I gave it? I changed to full AMD and the results were incredible. It's posted on the 1st of February. Really cool little breakdown of my thoughts on AMD. I definitely recommend most people give it a check-in. Especially on the graphics card side. A lot of people right now are kind of obsessively looking at the NVIDIAs and thinking, oh, what's the point in AMDs? They've got a high-end card. Just go last gen. Like, I'm very happy with the 7900 XTX. If you don't care about frame gen and you don't care about, like, if you don't care about, like, ray tracing, then 7900 XTX is good. Even if you care about ray tracing, the XTX is very good. The only area it might fall a bit short in your expectations is path ray tracing, but like 3 games use that and one of them uses it well, so you're not missing out. Anyway, this lines up perfectly to find out what Cat's going to be doing in this game. Is this just a standard eco wing? Because if it is, you're going to be silver treed. It's culture. He's going pro scouts. And no, the YouTube video does not show my mum building it. It's me talking about the breakdown. If people want to see that, there is the live stream VOD. For those that don't know, like, we built the PC we have now live on stream with my mum. It's a very long stream. I think the stream ended up being like 12 hours long. And there you go. It's going to be silver treats. Yeah, so Cat going pro scouts, B going trade. What do I favor more here? If it was the other way around, it's really easy for Mongols to dismount you because they can just go Magadai, right? But with this in mind, does Cat not have an option too of just going Camel Archers? I think Camel Archers can just disintegrate the plan for B. So, like, what's his counter solution there? The best one is, what, Horsemen? But the problem with Horsemen is you're going to need food, not gold. And Silver Tree's all about gold, so really, to make it make sense, what you're trying to do is build into Keshik wherever you can. Love me some sheep griefing. Gotta do a little bit of sheep yabbing. I mean, dude, he's going pro scouts. This isn't just sheep griefing. This is just delayed investment, right? Delayed return on investment coming in. Because we do have the mill already down. That's to be expected. But what gives it away that it's pro scouts is look at the gold. The tricky part is you do delay your pro scouts timing with this type of build. But I love that more players are picking this up. We theory crafted it a few weeks back. The whole idea of like culture wing into pro scouts is a way that even Abba can play this meta. Because right now, AoE4 is dominated by your ability to take sheep off the map. At least, deer off the map. At least on maps where there's a lot of deer. And, well, on Rocky River, there most definitely is. I mean, if we do a collective count... Doink, doink. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Rocky River has, I think it's 1. Well, not 1.5, but it's definitely above the standard. A standard map will have 4 deer stacks of 7, so 28 deer. This one has 38 deer. It's pretty ridiculous. Until Pro Scouts gets nerfed, this map will always inevitably be about Pro Scouts. At least for one of the 2 players. The other one's going to have to play blocker if they don't want to participate. And looking at what B's done here, it looks like he doesn't want to participate, right? He's got pack-up tech being rushed. He goes to the stables play. It's going to be the double Keshik pump. So he's just going to look to block the play of Cat. Stable will also help harass the trade. Horsemen aren't as great at killing traders as you'd think. They're okay. But if your opponent's scaling Keshik, you're going to have a bad time, right? Like, realistically, as Abba, you want Camel Archers. I just haven't really seen anyone try that recently on 1TC. Usually the Camel Archer builds involve 2 town centers, so you have good enough villager production to then quickly transition into expensive camels. All the deer on B side? No, that's a lie. Look, there's 1 deer here on his... But he got... Okay, I'm struggling to see what he actually got in return. He got the relics on his side. Boom, there we go. We figured it out. Silver Tree already on the move. I thought people would wait for culture discount. I mean, that's the concept, right? I think this is a matchup where you could have waited for it, but it does delay you by 30 seconds on your timing, right? Which is huge. If you think about how big of an advantage it is that China and Juji get their Pro Scouts tech in 30 seconds instead of 1 minute 15, you're basically adding on a wait time of almost that difference, right? Remember, guys, pro scouts allowing the deer to be picked up by your scouts. It just gives you so much safe food. That's really tricky for Mongol players in particular because Mongols are all about raiding. So the effort to raid has to be condensed, but this is a great timing, man. The double Keshik pump into the base. Like, Cat doesn't have any protection. He's relying on static emplacements while trying to gather forward food. It's a great raid beat, able to draw first blood, and now he is going to follow suit into pro scouts because remember, there's 38 deer on this map. It really is too good to resist. Silver tree pump again, so basically double dipping. Cat has to be very careful about the choice he makes next, because if he gets it wrong, it's going to enable Mangadai. And remember, this is 1 TC, so it's not like he's going to have that extra breadth of static defenses because the town set protects, and it's not like he's going to have the extra economy scaling to offset losses. Can Khan pick up deer? That is an interesting question. I don't think I've ever seen someone try. I assume not, because the keybinds wouldn't line up, right? Because he has QWE. I'm pretty sure the Khan cannot. Okay, guys. Mongol buff. What if pro scouts let you pick up boars? Okay, I'm going to leave the room now. He wouldn't share his horse with it, though. You know, you just kind of like tie it to the back and then drag it along. While singing Christmas tunes as if you're Santa Claus, you know. Dashing through this sound. Military wing down the way. So we are getting that scale into Castle Cat. This is very, very greedy. But this is what you're meant to do with the build, right? Like, this is the whole intent of Culture Wing Pro Scouts. There's not really any other way that you feel good playing it, but you're giving a lot of it to B. Like, the upside is with Military Wing, you are going to counter the Keshiks. B is going to want to consider adding in Spears, which is tricky because with your opponent going Castle, if you do Spear spam, Ghoulims are the win condition. So the best thing that B can actually do, just keep focusing on taking all the deer away, right? Like, you have that window right now where Cat can't really contest where you go, and then go for your own castle play. Mongol buff will be letting Khan hunters pro scout because they're hunters. Nah, I still think that's where we add in the cannibalism. Maybe they hunt humans. I still need a modder to find a way of doing that. I legitimately want to see a world in which there's like a unit that can lasso enemy villages and then you just drag them off to be cannibalized. Like, I don't know. What would be a fitting civilization that ate humans a lot? That's what we need. Wait, you guys just... Actually, that's an interesting thought. Aztecs, I don't think they cannibalized, they sacrificed a lot, right? If we get Aztecs, I wonder if they'll create some sort of sacrifice mechanic. That's interesting. Danes? Okay, but this is a Swedish person recommending Danes. There are probably many other civs you could have chosen, historically. The fact that the Swedish guy immediately threw the Danes under the bus as the cannibals. I'm trying to remember if the Bohemian religion had that, because they had a very unique religion surrounded by Catholic states, right? I don't think cannibalism was part of that. But yeah, I think for Aztecs, it was more sacrifice than eating. It's tributes to their gods. So, Cat. He immediately goes in Lancers. I always find this funny when people just switch Lancers even though you're up against mass heavy cav. It's because he wants to raid though, right? Like, the Lancers will make better raiders than camel riders. Yes, no. The point at which it converts towards camels being better is like you're against trade and camel handling is a thing. Camel handling would actually make it better for you to go camels to deny trade. Just want to be conscious of at least scaling 1 or 2 though at any given time. The debuff is huge here, right? Like, the Keshiks are already waving plastic swords compared to normal Lancers. Reducing their damage by an extra 3 is huge. Especially considering that your melee units already have 4 armor. So that means -3, -4. These Keshiks are going to be hitting for 8 damage. And Cat did indeed do the 1 TC fast castle build. I like it, man. I think, you know, he's not out of the woods. He does need to do some damage, but you see the potential for this build, right? Lancers are going to be able to raid around the back. So first trader going down. And this is where the game gets a bit annoying for B. This is exactly how you don't want to have to play as a Mongol. Wide and dancing around your own base. He doesn't even have outposts up to protect the traders or allow his Keshiks to raid quicker. I don't know, man. This is just turning into a bit of a flood. If Cat didn't have pro scouts, this wouldn't be viable. I think any human people have, as a culture, been able to scale to that point. True. It's really like maybe a small, like, notable clan that were eating everyone around them. I guess, like, if there was a Civ that was that successful, it would kind of just go the way of the Catan from Warhammer 40k, right? Like, the gods loved eating souls, and then they eventually discovered their souls taste the best. You can guess where this is going. Like, eventually, you'd run out of things to cannibalize around you, and then you just resort to eating each other. This is why cannibalism is flawed. They have no business plan. That's already coming in. Spearman mass not great for B, right? It's spread too wide on the map. He's trying to approach the base, but Cat looks like we're going adding in additional camels at home now. He is trying to get towards relics. B's issues is still nowhere near an age up. And there's the camel handling. Dude, I think camel handling just breaks so much of the game. It's crazy how effective this tech is. I mean, this is with the less effective unit, right? Camel riders. It actually makes what feels like a clunky unit quite valid. The other reason why people tend to kind of skirt away from camel riders a lot is even when you see Miss Kish, if you go to camels, it's slow to scale and your opponent can go spears. And spears will just brutalize the crap out of you. Wait, do we have a switcheroo? No, B is still trying long trade. He's not trying to shorten it at all. So, Cat, how much runway does he have left on this play? Because they divided the map with pro scouts, right? I feel like B got more of the map. So he should have a bit more food to work with, but he still has the age disadvantage. However, if he can overcome that issue, Cat has a significant economical issue here. He hasn't done enough damage to the trade. He doesn't have his own scale point. He didn't go 2 town centers at all. He needs damage, and he needs it now. Clash is coming in. Keshik debuff means that he cannot fight Cat. We'll win the initial contest, but the Spearmen are here now, and Cat needs a transition. I don't think you can just keep playing Lancers here. It feels like he hasn't found that dive point, right? Meanwhile, B, just so many Spearmen to play with now means you've got enough to attack and defend, and on top of that, go into Castle Age. I mean, we have got the Lancers playing blocker on the east side at least now. Good reactions there out of B. Gonna be a push forward here to try and block out the goal. This is the only viable option for Cat right now, so he needs to stand his ground here. The camels are providing that debuff still, and there's enough of them that he can't actually fight directly into a B. May have overextended here. Ends up losing a lot of the heavy cav. Not ideal. Does at least have the Spearman left. Does have the tech up now coming. Cat. We still haven't really seen the next step. His opponent has lost all of his cav now. Theoretically, Cat can just go raiding with the Lancers. In actuality, though, there's already quite a lot of Spearmen here to defend the wide flank. And it looks like Cat is kind of going for a linear move, right? He's not spreading out 4 different places and attacking all of the economy. He's going for one big hit, and he was seen early. Yeah, the Falcon gave it away. Oh, that is 6 scouting from B. Such a smart read between the Khan and the scouts he's got left over. Remember, the scouts can also provide that scouting Falcon. So you can see a lot of the map. It's actually incredibly obnoxious playing against a Mongol player that utilizes these tools. Even watching the VODs at 1.25 speed, everything feels slow now. I still want to run a tournament at 1.25x speed multiplier. The only reason I haven't done it is like getting enough money together to entice players to sign up. I think it'd be incredible. I actually think that would be a big improvement to viewership as well. I've said this before, like playing AoE4 is like, yeah, I get it, like it engages you. But I think watching, because you can have a lot of downtimes, right? The 1.25x kind of makes sense. So Lancers are still getting a bit of chip damage done, but it's not really slowing him down anymore. He's up to 12 traders. Soon he'll be at 15. Oy, oy, oy. This is probably the best fight Cat can get, and he can't even take it. Veterancy's on the way. Just 20 seconds out. He's going to go for the economy. And he needs a big hit. He needs 10 worker kills. Nothing less will be acceptable here. He has at least got relics coming home now. It'd take a while. We do have outposts up here now, which means Yamura, which he can extend, remember, with the castle age. He can research it for infantry as well. Definitely be worth it. I think quite often players skip on that play, and it's a big mistake. Glad that B realizes it, right? Like you're being kited here. If you actually have Yam with a charge, you can kind of gap close on these guys. Gorodai is wheeling up, so B is looking for a counter push. It's gonna be delayed timing, right? He has to address the flank first. We do have screen replacements coming in as well. Movement speed arrow is going to get activated, but not going to be quick enough to get on top of any. And what are we doing? No. This game, it looked so good for B until he went for age 3. And the moment he did, I mean, it was two things, right? It was the tech up and it was the loss of the Keshiks. Brute forcing the main engagement when he's going into camels and lances and standard defenses didn't feel like a winning play. And then the castle follow-up pretty much conceded full control. Cat, I mean, he's kind of in the driving seat, right? He's found that bypass into archers now. Composite bows will be coming down the line. Boot camp will make a huge difference also. B just has too many spears. If Cat can at least just keep the food pump going, get up to 30, 40 archers here, definitely has the wood to do so, then we have a game that's very difficult for B to even contest. Quite funny how Mongols are an aggro stiff, the best ones for them are campy maps like Hill and Dale and Rocky River. It's the natural defenses, and also more than that, it's the trade post locations. Looks like B. Whoa! Okay, he's been raiding on the flank. Oh my god, this small group still hasn't been shut down, and look at the kills. It's added up. At the point where Cat should have been kind of coasting towards mass archers. He gets caught everywhere. Archer count is plummeting. The Keshiks find it all, and that is going to be a GG. For a moment, there was hope, but B snatches it away, and he is now on the verge of making a 3-0 sweep to get to the grand finals. We've got so many people watching what's going on. People are waking up to how incredible Age of Empires 4 is. That's right, ladies and gents. It's an amazing game. Everyone should be watching. Game number 3, Cat versus B. The battle of the animals. The battle of the feline and the insect. So far, Cat has been looking a little bit overturned here. He's been the pussy that's scared. The one that won't come out of the tree. And he's going to be scared again because B is going to be opening up with those little stingers poking. He's going for aggression here. We have got the first spearman coming out. It is going to be a Dark Age Jeanne Rax Rush. Interesting choice. One that has a different variance of strength to it than French. For French, it really is about the fact you have extra economy, so you can potentially do this against Malians. Malians specifically because of what they do with their wood. They build structures away from the safety of their TC. The thing that can make Jeanne's a bit better than French is the potency around Jeanne herself. Remember, she's a hero unit that upgrades for the ages. So if you time it right, you could use her to walk across and build outposts on the enemy side, and then get level 2 and start attacking them. I don't think we're going to be seeing that here. I think B is probably just going to go spears for a little bit of poke damage and then pull back for H2. Because one of the big problems is on a map like Dry Arabia, if you're going to walk Jeanne all the way over to the enemy side of the map, especially when you have to walk around the back to the pit mine, you better damn well make sure there's something other for her to do than just build a single outpost, because otherwise you aren't going to get enough XP for level 2. Great gold spawns for the Malians. Oh, agreed. I mean, he's got another retracted over here. He's got an optional on the east side as well, right? It's just a nice divide and split. He also has nice deer stack placements. That's really important because remember, Malians is a pro scouting civ. They're usually an anti-pro scouting civ. And what I mean by that is they will do it, but they will do it after blocking you. Jeanne is a weaker pro scouting civ. She's not as good as French. She's definitely not as good as HRE, Juji, Chinese, Rus. She can pro scouts. She just struggles because of the weak economy without many upsides. $2K viewers? What can I say, guys? Age of Empires 4 taking over, question mark? Be sure to welcome all the new people. I know a lot of people like to lurk, they'll be a bit shy, but hopefully, if people have questions, do feel free to pipe up. Ing variant Civ and Crusaders for the first DLC, probably, and then I'm hoping Spain, Vikings, Americans, Civ 2, for second DLC. English variant seems likely, right? I think I mentioned someone like Knights of Rhodes. I wouldn't be surprised if they appear. Was one that came to mind to me. Outside that, like, you know, I think we need a new Civ still. What would also be really cool is if at some point they decide to release a free DLC adding like a Japanese campaign. I think a Japanese campaign where it's just internal fighting amongst the Japanese clans would be a really cool addition. I think we're a little bit like campaign light in AoE4 still. It's kind of weird because I still stand by the statement that they made the best campaign of AoE4 with Sultan's Ascent. But the campaign revolved around like a variant Civ, right? The brand new Civs had nothing campaign related, which was quite surprising. So, a little bit of poke harassment there. I don't feel like that was going to achieve that much until Cat done this. He built Donzos. Now, normally I'm against Malians building into Donzos in Age 1. They're very expensive, right? It costs way too much wood. And the problem is you run out of the straggle trees, you run out of time. The difference here is you're against Jeanne. You're against a heavy camp Civ, meaning you will need Spearmen anyway. So in this particular situation, it's not as painful. What is kind of painful is the fact that you kind of got bait and switched. B, he's already on his way up to H2. And the Spearmen have got away alive. There was talk of Road to Conk free if you hit 750. I think we say Road to Conk, but yeah, chill. You've got to convince, and you and me have got to convince the people to now stay stream after stream. Every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. There will be an exception to that, by the way. Due to some constraints, we're likely looking to do next week's Grand Finals on Wednesday, but most weeks will always be Thursday. Poke damage. Whoa, gotta be careful. Well, the Donzos, they do have the Javelin Hurl there. They didn't take the opportunity. That would have been a big snipe. Remember, you don't have scaling economy like you do with French, right? You kind of fall behind with Jeanne because you're going to level her up. Speaking of her, this has to be melee form. You never want to be building range form against Malians. It's a death sentence. It's something that B should be astutely aware of. Oh my god, he does it anyway. Isn't this very good for Cat? Okay, so let's draw through the possibilities here. The reason why you don't do range Jeanne is because Malians have the Javelin unit, which is a unit that gets bonus against range units. I think what B is leaning on is the idea that you can't... Also, what was that panting? Very scared of the dog. Not of a boar, though. But I think the issue here is in the current meta, because it has to be pro scouts and you've already gone racks, you can't just go javelins. It's subtly quite smart if B's goal here is just a 2 to 3 minute advantage, right? Because this is either going to slow your opponent going to pro scouts, or they concede advantage to you because they don't want to miss their timing here. And we're going to see what Cat's doing. He's conceding the timing, right? He's prioritizing pro scouts instead. So what's the follow-up? I mean, B, we're shuffling around the back. We do have knights on the way. Hasn't been adding in more spears. Actually, would have been a good game for that. It's almost like B is expecting to get counterplayed by javelins, but Cat's making the right call, delaying his timing. We are going to get the fort production building being access to javelins. Archer range now on the way. Very tricky here. You have to make sure these spears get the Warrior Scout low enough to snipe. Cat should be aware that that can easily happen here. Like, if they all stab into the same scout, you're gonna lose. At least one of these guys. Oh. OB! He had to back up more. That was sick micro Cat. He is going to end up getting one of the warrior scouts low enough. The sniper is going to come in. But instead of being 2 scouts lost, it's only going to be... Okay, scrap that. No, that was a bit of a mess up in the end. The night muddied things. That's additional scouts going down. There was another snipe coming off cooldown, so Cat did choose the right moment to back away. But remember, these are not horsemen. They don't get bonus damage against Jeanne. You need javelins. This is going a lot better than I would have expected for B. I guess it's because we don't follow the conventional lines. Typically for Jeanne or French, you're going knights into archers, not spearmen first. So for Malians, you're no longer able to just get away with this, Donzo's javelins later. It kind of forces it now as a necessity, and Cat's struggling with that. He went pro scouts. He actually hasn't got any of the deer home by the looks of it, right? Maybe one? I mean, he's currently eating cows, which completely defeats the point of going pro scouts. Meanwhile, B, he isn't bothering, right? Okay, no, he just got it coming in. So he'll be shifting to pro scouts shortly. He's now got the scouts being produced. I'm impressed, man. Like, once again, Malians is a pro scout denying pro scout, right? They deny your play, then get it themselves. B has taken that concept and outplayed his opponent. Jeanne is going to get dove. She has the divine restoration, though. Oh, this is sick as well. You can delay it right until the bitter end because your opponent doesn't get bonus damage, right? So you can min-max with Jeanne. Trying to peel away the injured warrior scouts. Final wallops are coming through. He does at least get the kill before she get the XP. But this is getting expensive for Cat. Nice micro as well. But he's like, okay, yeah, you're not the only one who can pull away the injured parties. Elegant fight happening here. And now B just flooding into the scouts. And finally, we have Cat going javelins after he's dealt with Jeanne. It's because he knows she's coming back, right? We have a buyback from B. Remember, you can purchase her again immediately. It does go on cooldown then. Did cost him 250 gold, so basically that's 1 knight less than otherwise. It's only, what, 1 javelin? Second one is on the way. And B's still in the deer from his side. And we're back in on the clashes. Nice double snipe there. Peels away another injured knight. I mean, at this point, you could actually just dive onto the javelin. He doesn't care, though, right? Like, Jeanne is taking some damage, but it's only a single jav. So instead, just takes the opportunity to snipe down all the counters to the knights, peels away, and this, folks, should be chivalry. He's got so many injured knights at this stage. Yeah, look at him. 3, almost 4. I want to say they're at death's door. Soon to be 5. Jeanne herself does not have divine restoration for another 40 seconds. You have to start backing up here. We do have additional spears on the way. Yeah, so I just saw the word Zerg mentioned, and this is actually really appropriate. Yes, B used to be a Zerg player, but have you guys noticed something about the way he's playing the game recently? B is more Zerg-oriented than most players in the current meta. We actually saw that in his series earlier in the week against Mahodo. Definitely recommend checking that one out. The game 1 was crazy because we got to see some Buddhist monkery. But game 2 was where it really showed itself, what B is doing. He would blob 30 spearmen and just send it. I like this as well because the whole idea is you're just using these as kind of damage absorbers. They can counter certain units, but if they don't counter, they're at least not expensive while providing mass. Mass is important because it allows you to control what is being attacked more easily, but it also allows you to pinch enemy troopers. And it also allows you to do things like diving afterwards, right? But this spearman layering just makes a lot of sense on so many levels. It's also a perfect counter to Cat's entire comp, right? You counter the warrior scouts, Donzos are better than you, but you should have more spears. And then finally, the javelin throwers. Javelin throwers hate spearmen because they just don't get bonus damage against them and have a bad attack speed. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we see B use the consecrate that gives the food discount onto Arax, because if he wanted non-stop pump spearmen, it's actually better than doing it on the stables. Like, you only want to consecrate stables if you know you're always going to be producing knights. Another thing to keep in mind, this is already a very long feudal, right? By Jeanne standards. We're 12 minutes into the game. And Cat, he's only now moving on to his second deer stack. Reminder that these were both very close spawning to his base. Meanwhile, B is going to take his safe deer now. We do have some snatchery here, but Cat does get intercepted, has to pull away. Jeanne, able to outrun, remember, she has better movement speed than the Javs. B's so weird to watch. I think the way to describe it isn't that B doesn't do standard stuff. Agreed that is the case. But the reason he doesn't do standard stuff is he ratchets the game, right? Like this is, I think what you saw here was a reaction to the spawn. I don't think you see him make the same opening, at least opening moves for Feudal Age, if it isn't double deer stack here. If it was one deer right, one deer left, likely we're looking at him just getting 1 or 2 knights and then just playing pro scouts to get everything, right? Oh my god, no, that is... Well, that's eternal sadness. We have Grand Fulani Corral, a landmark that buffs the food income you get from cows, and he has no cows. By the time he techs up, he's maybe gonna have 1 ranch full instead of the standard 6 you usually see. Pretty brutal economy. And B hasn't really skipped a step here. Look at this economy. The knights as well. I mean, this is the time where chivalry pays off the most, right? When the health bars are smaller, so you can rejuvenate faster to full. Into a bypass into castle, then you can just go for the veterancy. And he's even going to go for the long con here. It's not even an all-in route institute, despite how good that would be. With the earlier tech, Imperial Age usually being where you have to wait for Royal Bloodlines, he could have had it for 15 knights in Castle Age, which is huge. Collective health ball increase, that would be on 15 knights, an extra 1200 HP. So in terms of raw health increase, that would be like having an extra 6 and a bit knights. Cat now going to the sofa. Interesting choice. I can see where he's coming from though. He wants to try and counter-offensive to make his opponent be the one who has to deal with his problems, right? I don't know what the counter-offensive play is here when there's this many knights. I think it's a lot of respect being shown by B that he didn't go Royal Institute here. Just assuming he's the backup plan. Because I legitimately think with Royal Bloodlines kicking in 2 minutes in the castle, I don't think there's a one in which Cat could have blobbed quick enough. Or playing the flank. It's going to get discovered by the Warrior Scout. Like, wait, what are you doing here? You're not allowed to carry boars. Even if you could, you wouldn't have a use for it. Jeanne must be close to level 3, right? Probably like 2 minutes away. How do we have 2K viewers? I guess everyone brought a friend today. Knights diving in. Oh, he actually goes for the recharge last second there. He baited Cat to retreat, and then he recommits the charge for the bonus damage. Wipes out the Donzos. And backs away like it's nothing. Level 3 Jeanne now in champion spawn to deal with the Donzos. We have got sofas massing up for Cat, but B, being very wise about this, doesn't want to have to attack and defend. He's going to go for the full wall in. Yeah, and Cat is... Wait, what is... What is this? And what is up, ahoy sailors? Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the prime sub. It's a bit late for an outpost rush, isn't it? What is... What? Was this a misclick? Cat just randomly has 2 villages out here. Is he trying to secure the relic? At 15 minutes, when your opponent has mass knights, that doesn't make much sense, right? It's too risky. The only play that would make sense is like a proxy base. But that sounds odd as well. Oh, he was going for the pit mine, wasn't he? But then he just gave up. Okay. I guess he was feeling greedy and then has just accepted the reality of never getting a pit mine. You at least have a little raid group moving in here. I say little, and I think that's being generous. It shouldn't really be capable of damage, but it can at least keep the spearman chasing him. Nemo, other side of the map. We gotta dive in, and that's a lot of villages. Checkpoint fight. Champions are trying to tank, but they're actually tanking not into Donzos, but into sofas. Villagers are coming back. Remember, Jeanne could easily start sniping them down. Instead, go for the big boy targets. Remember, you hit like a truck. 100 pure damage. Can easily snipe down sofas. Cat. Surely not. No, he's not going to have to give way just yet. B pulls it back out into the open. Sick read there. He's got full melee. That was working against him. He needs to flood through and break him fast. It doesn't look like he's going to be capable of it, though. The sofa just a bit too tanky. They'll thin the herd enough. Yeah, so B with a very ambitious dive. And if he had his own spearman, maybe. But remember, those spears were running around after the scout and the sofa in the back. A very questionable fight, actually. I thought B was at least going to try to maybe snipe villagers or something here. He has at least stopped Cat from rushing all the ranches up, but I don't think B's done himself any favors here. Yes, he has got the guild hall, but it's only at 520 resources. So you're kind of opening a window for your opponent here. Now, we still do have a second wave of knights, 11 more available, plus the spearman. And I'm starting to wonder, like, is there a world in which this was just a trick by B to get the next stage? Because if it was, what's the point in it? Right? You haven't got the relics yet. You haven't got 2 TC. It's a bit odd. Misclick, most likely. I don't think you misclick 20 knights into the enemy line for that long, right? I think you just didn't respect the Donzos. Which is absurd. B kind of just played this game in that moment as if he had Root Institute. His play would have made sense with the Institute, but not without, right? A little bit perplexing, but we still have the resources stockpiling over time. And we do have him consecrating these Raxes now, by the way. So extra savings to be had there. XP for JD. You need a lot of XP. It's 1,500, right? This is much better. This is what I expected to see, right? It's almost like B forgot to get the second wave in position or just split the troops. So nice bit of chip damage done there. B now ahead by 8. Counter raid opportunities just don't really exist anymore. Walls already up. I like that Cat has just consistently kept these scouts running around the back. They can't really kill anything, but it's information play, right? You want to see what your opponent is switching into. Not crazy about this for Cat, though. So ironically, although the initial trade wasn't great from an XP standpoint, like with the damage you just done economically, this is beginning to grind like you're a hardcore MMO player. The XP bar is shifting. It's not a point of completion. In fact, we can have a quick Candace here. Do the rare thing. Yeah, you see, still need to have, what, 900? Or 880, rather. It's a long way to go. But the more these type of fights that happen with villager kills, the better it looks for B. Like, level 4 will creep in at this rate. And what worries me is the Musafadi play just doesn't really make much sense. I'm scratching my head as to why Cat's gone Musafadi. I mean, presumably it's because it's against knights, and he wants to try to ambush them, but there's something that's being hidden by B. We're up to 30 spearmen now. He's finally going to pull them. This is insane. If there's something you've got to give to him, right? We said about his creative build, something else that has made B really one of the strongest contenders in KPMMs is his delayed timings. He essentially scales something and hides it until you counter play yourself, right? Like, building Musafadi into mass spears is not a winning play. This is crazy. Like, B has just been sitting on the spearman this entire time, spamming knights, waiting for Cat to give the reaction he wanted. It's a full poker face bluff at the table, and Cat has taken the bait. B was sitting here with pocket twos, and Cat assumed it was a full house. Yeah, and now this makes you wish you had the archers instead. I mean, you're already deterred from the idea of archers partially because arbitrary with the Pavis drops, but an awkward position now for Cat to find himself in. Blobbing Musafadi, he's kind of following that ideology we talked about for B, where numbers sometimes is just better than actually having the right counter. Sometimes you just need enough of something. Musafadi's fine versus Spear. Fine isn't good enough here, though. The whole idea is it just bogs you down in a fight, like, that you aren't going to feel great about, right? Like, I feel as if you'd rather just have Donzo against the Spearman, right? Donzo counters this all. Musafadi is like a half counter. It's almost like he's missing the other step to contain this, right? Like, use these as ambushes and then take the main fight. The pocket twos, baby. Hops into the counter pocket. Takes himself some Kobe beef. Musafadi are charging forward. The Spearman can be let through here. Nice to charge behind it. Yeah, still got the Divine Restoration pump to work with, but this army looks way too big. The only upside for Cat is that it's a small choke point, but not small enough. The concave begins. The colors switch. And me is going to waste no time making it through to the grand finals because Cat is out of place here. The key Cat strats that got him to grand finals last week that managed to take B all the way to 5 games in previous encounters has simply not manifested in week number 12. Hey, I've got 8 hours of front page here. Can you chill? Because you're making it look like we might be lucky to use half of it. It's a 3-0 stomp for 3D Clans B.